Joining me now, Crystal Ball, a senior fellow with the New Leaders Council, Carl Higbee, former Navy SEAL and spokesman for Great America Political Action Committee, and Kristen Soltys-Anderson, Republican pollster and Washington Examiner columnist. Good to see you. So, Crystal, let me start with you on this. Now, there's 9 accusers, but just to be fair to Mr. Trump, the accusations range from, he explicitly grabbed a woman's genitals to he went and gave me a kiss on the side of my mouth upon greeting me. Now, I don't know whether all of these are going to amount legally to sexual assault, but right. You heard Trump's dismissal. Your thoughts on Melania's statement tonight and Trump's?
Well, look, I think for Donald Trump, he continues to assert this is some sort of vast conspiracy and that all of them are lying. And one of the things that really bothers me, Megan, is this idea that the women are out seeking fame. No one is having fun right now. This is not a good time to go out and accuse a powerful man of sexual assault. They're being scrutinized for their looks, for their stories. They're being called liars. And Lord knows what kind of ugly threats and messages they're receiving. So this is not a fun thing for anyone to do. In terms of Melania, she doesn't need our sympathy. She's a grown woman, but I do feel for her. She's fighting for her husband. She, of course, believes her husband is going to defend him. One thing I would say, though, is that I hope that people would show Hillary Clinton, when she was in a similar situation trying to defend her husband, the same sympathy that Melania Trump also deserves and receives here.
Don't hold your breath on that one. In her defense, I don't know that Hillary was as sympathetic when she was out there saying, this is a vast right-wing conspiracy as Melania is.
Well, but what you hear from Melania is also, it actually reminded me of the vast right-wing conspiracy comment, because she's also asserting that this is essentially a conspiracy, right? So
she was close.
I'm
only saying the tone and the delivery was different.
The tone is definitely different, but when you're the wife, of course you're going to defend your husband. Of course you're going to go to bat for him, and so I think that's what you see here, and she does it very well.
Kristen, let me ask you that before we get to Carl. How dug in are people on this issue of the tape? Because the latest poll that came out showed they do think it's a legitimate issue. That virtually everybody has seen that tape in the entire country. And here are the numbers. 55% believe that it is a legitimate issue in the election, or Trump's treatment of women is, and that only 42% believe that it's not legitimate, which just about mirrors Trump's support, almost exactly the 42%. So how dug in are the voters?
Voters are pretty dug in, and Donald Trump has to be pretty glad to have a character witness like Melania Trump coming out, giving support to him, because the slew of polls that have come out in the last day or two have not been great news for him. But right now you have about 85% of Republican voters who say they're voting for Trump. About the same number of Democratic voters say they're voting for Hillary Clinton. 9 out of 10 of those folks say they're not going to change their minds. And even though a majority say that this issue is relevant, most people also said in that same poll that this isn't going to change their mind. So while Trump's probably glad to have Melania out there, hopefully putting this issue to bed, hopefully getting this out of the headlines so he can get back to the issues, his big challenge is not necessarily just sort of batting this down, because a lot of voters do think that his character is something that we should be discussing.
Carl, one of the things that Melania said tonight was, she said, first of all, she believes that Billy Bush, she told CNN, she believes Billy Bush egged on Donald Trump in that tape, and that, she's sort of saying sometimes she feels like, she said it was boys' talk, even though he was 59 years old when he engaged in it. How does that grab you?
Well, the thing is that he's still engaged in it, but the defense of Donald Trump, these women are getting debunked just as fast as they're coming out. You have Natasha, she was debunked by the butler. You have this Jessica Lead, she was debunked by another passenger on the plane. You have Mindy McGillen that was debunked by the event that she said had happened. That didn't even happen.
Challenged is probably a more fair characterization. Debunked suggests that they've been proven wrong. There have been some challenges raised by others, but that doesn't
One woman said it happened at an event that didn't even occur. So, yeah, I would say that's debunked.
Well, there's a headline saying the woman on the airplane has been refuted, Jessica Leeds. And when somebody comes forward and says, that's not how I saw it, and that person is a seriously flawed character witness, that doesn't refute anything. That just is another person saying, I have an issue with what she said. But, Crystal, the problem for Donald Trump is he doesn't have enough time between now and November 8th to try to disprove these women. And even if he did, the opinions on Trump among women and independents were firming up and not in his favor long before that Access Hollywood tape broke.
That's exactly right. Nate Silver actually, or at 538, has a column saying essentially men are voting in this election or indicating that they're going to vote in this election like it's a normal year. and women are not. Women are disproportionately and in historic numbers right now going for Hillary Clinton. And the big problem for Donald Trump here is that a majority of voters think that he did the things that are being alleged because it's consistent with his own words and with the way that, frankly, he's treated women over the course of his life and over the course even of this campaign. So it's too late for him to turn around that perception.
Carl, I got to go, but I want to ask you, what do you want to see? Which version of Trump do you want to see in this debate on Wednesday night? I mean, you want to see fighter Trump, presidential Trump? What do you want to see?
I want to see 25% of what we saw in the second debate and the other 75% pure policy, and I think he can do it.
Yeah, fascinating. All right, I got to go, but I got to ask Kristen quickly. Kristen, the poll's not in his favor. Does he have any chance? I mean, really, do you believe he has any chance still of winning?
He's got to pull off an almost perfect run in Florida, Ohio, Iowa, Nevada, New Hampshire, and I think that congressional district in Maine. He's got to have everything go right. The odds are very long, but everybody's been wrong writing Donald Trump off till this point, so you can't completely count him out.
Great to see you all.
Thank you.